Today, we're diving into how to create stunning visuals in Blender using lights. First thing first, understanding the basics of lights is crucial. It's not just about making your scene look realistic, but also creating the right atmosphere and mood. So, you can make your scene feel warm and inviting, or cold and mysterious. With that being said, let's get this video started. We're going to add a camera to our scene, and hold Shift A, add a camera, and as you can see, our camera is added here. Now, what I like to do is I like to, in the viewport, find that angle that I want here, and I'll say something like that, right? And what I could do is, okay, hold Shift Alt 0. And what that's gonna do with the current camera is it's gonna pretty much copy that same view from the viewport to the current camera. And now, with the camera to view selected, make sure that's turned on. You can hold Shift and kind of just tweak it to the right position that you're looking for. So I say that's about the center. If you need guidelines, you can always go into the camera settings, scroll down to composition guides, and turn on thirds or center, just to make sure that, hey, I'm actually centered in this view. Now you can turn that off too as well, and you can also turn this up to kind of cancel out what the camera cannot see. It also save time whenever you're doing rendering through the viewport. So from there, we have the right angle. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a background. Okay, so let's add an HDRI to our scene. Okay, so you can find those online. You can find free ones online. So just browse through whatever you feel will fit the scene that you're making. So just add it to the scene. Just make sure you adding it through the shader editor, and in order to add the HDRI, you have to go not the object but the world view. I'm using Polyhaven add-on, so I have a library of HDRI that I could just add directly to my scene, and this is the one I chose from this. So I'm gonna bring the numbers up here until I find something that fits what I'm looking for. And it seems like it's a bit bright, so I'm gonna drop the brightness a bit. Yeah, that looks good. And just play around until you find that right lighting that fits the scene that you want to do. Yeah, so about here looks good, and I chose this because then it highlights the edges of this perfume bottle, and that's what you want to do. You want to kind of separate the product from the background. And sometimes just make sure you turn this camera to view. Sometimes I forget, and whenever I'm trying to orbit the product, I end up changing the camera position. So just make sure you turn that off after you're done moving the camera around. But yeah, like I said, next we're gonna add the background, and I'm gonna add a plane. And with this plane, what I want to do is I want to go over to constraints, object, copy the rotation of the camera. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want the background to be completely perpendicular to the camera. So let me actually use the local view, bring that out, and I can scale this out as well. And then I just want to make sure that I cover the whole frame in this render. I could probably shorten it a bit. Let me actually turn down the transparent. Okay, so I could actually go back to global, drop that down. Yeah, that's about it. It just covers the frame of the camera that we're gonna render through. So with that being said, let's go over to object, and I'm gonna add a material here, and I'm gonna make this a black material. Okay, turn up the roughness a bit. I'll mess with that later, because next what we're gonna do is we're going to actually add a light source, an area light to this. And let's see here, I'm gonna hold shift, right click on the backdrop, and let me actually name this backdrop. So backdrop, okay. And I'm gonna control A, I'm gonna add an empty. Okay, the area light that I have here, where is that? Okay, it's right there, right under the perfume. And I want to use a constraint as well to track to the empty that we just added to the scene. Okay, now it's pointing directly at that empty, and now no matter where we move this light, it's always going to point to that empty. All right, so let me actually move this a little bit closer. Yeah, like out there. And with that light source selected, I'm going to the light properties. I can increase this light. And as you can see, it's already given that glow behind the background. But I can also increase the size and also change the spread to make it a little bit stronger and concentrated. And out there. Now, so already looking nice here. And let's see, what else can we add next? So we got the background, we have a good rim lighting that's highlighting the edges of this product. Now, we know this is glass, so what we may need is another plane. Add that there. Spread that out. And I'm gonna rotate this. Okay. Select the light, strength, track to glass target. Alright, so it's pointing to pointing to the perfume. And I want to find that angle, so let me get to the top view and I'm gonna rotate this. See maybe if try to turn it all the way up. I'm gonna increase this up. Make this light source bigger, that way make it bigger, change the angles, and this is where you just have to figure out what works for you and the scene that you're working on. And what you could also do is under the object, scroll down, ray visibility. You don't want to see this light source. You can always uncheck that in the camera. That way it kind of makes that invisible. So I'm gonna do that and move that around to see if I can find any. Thanks for joining me today. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Blender tutorials. Until next time, keep creating.